It's the Middle-Aged Bodcast. Getting older, but having some laughs.
Welcome to the Middle-Aged Bodcast with me, Raging Rich.
And me, T.A. Shelano.
And T.A., we have another guest with us today.
We do indeed. We're joined by Cindy from Hypno Wellness. Welcome, Cindy.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing?
We're all right. I think we're good.
I think we're pretty good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. I just found out I'm going to have a granddaughter.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
we're excited. That'll be 3 grandchildren for us. Yeah.
Many congratulations. And
Thank you.
what an interesting addition. To this and in addition to the family, in addition to this episode, I was totally not expecting. We haven't spoken about that obviously before the program. So, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's my newest thing that I have.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that with us on the program. That's great. I don't know where to go with that. I was just about to say, Pat, tell us about yourself and your podcast. Screwing it up. Like, oh, yeah, we've got another grandchild on the way. But yeah, tell us who you are and you know about yourself.
All right. My name is Cindy, and I was a dental hygienist for over 25 years. Actually, I was in the dental field since I was about 17 years old. And when I was in the dental field, I enjoyed it, but it never really gave me that creative outlet, that everybody kind of has. I guess maybe everybody has, but I sure did. And hypnosis was something that I always enjoyed reading about, and I wanted to do it really bad. And so I took a little course, and then I found out, nobody wants to do that in the South because they all kind of feel it's not a good thing, I guess I should say. That's how I should word it. And so I just kind of put it on the back burner. And my mother, she got Alzheimer's, and she came to live with us for about almost a year until it just got a little bit too much for us to handle, and we had to put her in her home. And I was faced with go back to work or do something, and I chose to get my hypnotherapy certificate. So that's how I came to be. That's how I came to do a podcast, I guess I should say.
Oh wow, that's really
That's a lot.
Yeah. Sort of going into the podcasting side as well with it. Was that something then that you decided to do straight away, or was it sort of something that came later on after you'd gotten your qualifications?
Well, the thing about it was, it's hard to do in the South. Like, a lot of people associate hypnosis with like evil. I guess that's the nicest way to put it. People don't have forward thinking down here like they do other places. And so the only way that I could really use my certificate was to do it online. And I thought the best way to do that and to get my voice out was to use a podcast. And I started my podcast, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. The creativeness that your podcast can it gives you so many things to do. It's insane. You can edit, you write your scripts, you do your thumbnails, you meet people. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, we've obviously experienced all those angles doing this as well, without obviously the professional hypnotherapy side of it, or hypnosis. But I mean, how, from your perspective, how can hypnosis be used to sort of improve health and well-being?
Oh my gosh, it has so many uses that go unused. It's not about. A lot of people think hypnosis is like, oh, she's going to, turn you into a zombie or make you, do something that you don't want to do. But it actually goes in and it changes you. It's not me putting something in you. It's you changing you, if that makes sense. It's your subconscious mind. A hypnosis cannot make you do something that you don't want to do. And I just think there's so many uses for it, and it just is so underutilized.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there about it can't make you do things that you want to do, and I suppose you find a lot of people who, certainly in the UK, when we've had people that sort of mention they've gone to hypnotherapy, a lot of it's things like trying to stop smoking and things like that. So I suppose there's a lot of kind of practical things people want to change, but maybe they find it hard getting into sort of the mindset that they need, and hypnosis can kind of help them kind of get into that zone, shall we say, where they can then they have that kind of reaction to things that they then know they don't want to be smoking and things like that. Have you had any of that kind of experiences with people?
My brother was one that, with the smoking thing, he wanted to stop. He wanted to stop it, but he couldn't. And hypnosis kind of helped him get over that hump. Like it's taking what you have in your brain and your willpower and just like making it come out of you and be like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. So it's a really cool thing. And I love how in the UK, y'all embrace hypnosis. Y'all have a bunch of hypnotherapists. And in fact, the program that I took was from a guy in Scotland. So y'all embrace it so much better than we do here.
Well, we used to have back in, I suppose it was in the 80s, was it, T.A., with Paul McKenna?
From an entertainment perspective, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if he's because he went on to be on American television, didn't he? I think
so,
Paul McKenna
yeah.
as well. He used to do it and I think that's where some of the, as you mentioned, the more people become critical of it was the way it was done within the entertainment industry sometimes.
Yeah.
It looked like people were being made to look silly or, doing the things that they didn't want to do and whatnot. So
Right, like cluck like a chicken and things like that. But to find people that can be hypnotized like that, you have to kind of go through a bunch of different people in order to get those people that are highly hypnotizable and that you can get them to cluck like a chicken. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes on that you don't see on TV. So,
but it's certainly got on the opposite side. In the UK, you say you sort of learned from somebody in Scotland, but I know we had here. I can remember going back quite decades now, where we had you heard of Alan Carr, the author who had the stop smoking centres?
Yes.
The first thing I sort of remember of seeing this outside of the entertainment side of things was that. I think we just have to point out from a UK point of view, there's another Alan Carr now who's a comedian who you may or may not have heard of in the UK, who's very popular now. But we're talking about Alan Carr from many decades ago, who very famously had these centres. So, yeah, I mean, that's interesting where it's had that longer history. So how did you come to connecting with the person in Scotland?
Well, I was online and trying to find, because a long time ago, I did something through a dental course and I got like a little, how sometimes you can take like a little certificate or whatever. And I got that a long, long, long time ago. And when I guess I should say, I retired my my dental hygiene degree. I wanted to take something bigger, and so I just kind of went online. That's how I found it.
It's quite a leap, isn't it? It's very different from sort of doing dental world. I suppose most people feel like they need to be hypnotized to go to the dentist. I don't know.
And that's what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to hypnotize people and make it to where that they would have a more, pleasurable time at the dentist. Because I used to get people that would cry just to have their teeth cleaned, and it used to make me sad because I'm like, this shouldn't be that hard for somebody. But dentists back a long, 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 long time ago didn't think children's teeth had nerves, and they would just drill on them and pull their teeth out without any anesthesia. And so a lot of older people have a lot of hang-ups about going to the dentist. And I thought it would help, but the dentists that I work for, they laugh in your face. Hypnosis, ha, 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 they would just think it was stupid. And I wish I could have done something to change their mind or, but there was nothing that I could do. And so when I quit doing hygiene, this was the next best thing that I could think of to do.
Obviously, we mentioned Paul McKenna there with him having that entertainment program, but should point out he's actually gone to other shows where he has done sort of therapy through hypnosis, and doing that kind of. I'm thinking sort of the for people in the UK, things like This Morning and stuff like that, where they have people, and like I say, people who want to quit smoking, people who want to change their relationship with food, stuff like that. So there is kind of that other side of it as well. So it's interesting that you're saying about at the dentist there thinking, oh, hypnosis, and you think, well, actually, surely that would be something they'd embrace in a way, because you must have people who go, who really do find it hard, and it must be such a struggle to sort of keep people calm when they're having dental work and stuff. So it is a strange kind of thing to just sort of laugh off. I think that there's always benefits to all these different therapies out there.
Well, one good thing is I also learned when I was, taking the class from a long time ago, is how to talk to people, and kind of in a way, you don't hypnotize them, but you talk to them in a way like, everything's going to be okay. And I used to have people that would be like, I want Cindy to come in here and hold my hand and talk to me when I have this procedure done. And I was the hygienist, so I'd have to go into the other room and hold their hand and talk to them while they, had their procedure done. So I think there is such use for it. It's just, it doesn't get utilized because people think it's a joke, or, it's not going to work, or it makes them look like I guess the dentist can't do their job, or I don't know.
What do you say to people who are skeptical of it?
I try to explain it to them in a way of, it's not woo-woo. It's actually scientific. It's proven that it can help you. And, I'll show them like a little video or a website. And there's some people you can get through to, and then the other people that just still think you're going to turn them into a chicken. It's it's hard.
Could you turn either of us into a chicken now? Like, that's something you could do.
And that's the cool thing about hypnosis. If you don't want to turn into a chicken, you're not going to turn into a chicken. That's why they have to go through so many different people in order to find people that are highly hypnotizable, that you can get them to cluck like a chicken. Because an ordinary person it's very staunch in their thinking is going to be like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to embarrass myself. And that's the great thing about hypnosis is you're not going to what is it, the Manchurian candidate? You're not going to have that. That's a completely different thing on how to brainwash somebody. And hypnosis isn't brainwash, so that's a good thing. Maybe I need to learn how to brainwash.
Well, there was...
Brush your teeth. Floss your teeth.
Interestingly enough, you're saying about the brainwashing side of things and sort of how hypnotizable people are. There was a program quite some time back here in the UK that a guy called, and I've just completely forgotten his name, Darren Brown. Darren Brown did a thing where he actually did convince somebody that he was in a zombie apocalypse. And it was something they did through massive amount of research, trying to find someone who was susceptible enough to that. And I remember that program going out and a lot of people being, well, hang on a minute, it's sort of turning it into entertainment, but kind of using it in the wrong way. And I think ever since that aired, things have been very different over here with what he's shown relating to hypnosis. I think I've not known anything like that go out since. And I think even Darren Brown on his shows has sort of toned it down massively from that kind of thing, certainly on his television side of things. And it is becoming much more of the sort of that positive side to it being used a lot more, as we say, with the therapy and all of that sort of side of things.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that and see, because that just sounds interesting to me. Like, brainwashing, that is a scary thing. And you find that a lot in, like what's going on in the United States. You see that a lot of that happening right now. It's very scary how you can manipulate people through the media and everything. So I think we all just have to, when we see something, we need to research it a little bit. And you don't take everything at face value whenever somebody says something to you, and you look at it and you go, huh, okay. And then you go home and you research it.
We are unfortunately living in an age, obviously with the technology as well now, where it is very difficult to actually trust what you see.
Yes.
The technology is there now, as you say, to alter things so much, and it's getting frighteningly effective. So it is quite a scary time. But of course, obviously, with you coming on the show, research, as you say, and finding things out is always good fun. And hypnotherapy is not something I've ever sort of massively engaged in, other than some of the things we've actually been talking about or have seen. So I thought, I'm going to have a listen to some of your work. And so it's been quite an interesting experience, actually, because obviously I noticed that the duration of the majority of your podcasts is sort of between the 5 and 20 minutes. Right.
And now I don't do a life-altering, deep dive hypnotherapy session. Mine are just kind of, if you want, it's almost like a relaxing hypnotherapy session. You're listening to it, you get a light hypnosis, and that's what I do. If you wanted something deeper, it would have to be, you really have to be more personable with it. You need to know somebody's, story and what they want to change about themselves. And then you want to try to put a trigger in there for them. So whenever they hear that particular thing, they'll go, oh yeah, I don't need to do that, or I need to do that, So my little things are basically more or less a meditation, if that makes sense, than more of a hypnotherapy, like full session.
You have stole my feedback somewhat, because the next part of where I was going to go with that was, because they're only between the sort of 5 and 20 minute marks, what I'd found was listening is like, because your voice is actually very soothing to listen to. So when you actually drift into it, I went into like a state of calm and felt quite refreshed afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I was sitting in the conservatory on like this wooden chair, and it was like just a few minutes, and I felt completely different afterwards. And I think that, like you said, the duration actually can give you that almost an instant bit of a reset. And I found that very connecting as a listener. I mean, sometimes obviously podcasts can vary dramatically in length, irrespective of topics. But actually, that kind of time of, okay, a relatively short period of time to listen to something, connect with it, and just drift into it. I've listened to quite a few now, and well, the ones I've listened to, I can be honest, is Can You Really Boost Your Focus in Less Than 5 Minutes? How to Quiet Your Inner Critic Fast, A Soft Place to Land, the 5-minute comfort hypnosis, mini mind reset, let go of morning stress, and the power of words, cultivating kindness and respect in our daily lives. And a couple of them I listened to with my wife as well. And so it was really good, because even she was like kind of finding it very, very soothing and calming. And that's something she struggles with, particularly sort of later on in the evening to try and get to sleep. So I think what you do does definitely connect. And I definitely felt that kind of drifting into it, that I struggle to switch.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us struggle to switch off in the modern world as well, with the amount of, things we're doing in all time and technology. So yeah, actually, I really did. I quite enjoyed it. I don't know. I'd be interested in what other feedback you kind of get from the podcast.
Just that people just enjoy. I get a lot of, I like your voice. I like your voice. I guess my voice is soothing. And I used to get that at the dental office too. People would be just like, yeah, you have a soothing voice. But I think the way you just use your voice in hypnotherapy is also another thing. You know, if you had a grating, you know, annoying voice, you might not be able to get that connection with somebody, you know. And I think it's just like the soothing way that your voice works. And then also when you pace yourself, that's another thing with hypnosis. The pacing has to be kind of like, you don't want to go too long in between, you know, letting somebody settle without talking, because you can put somebody to sleep. And then you don't want them to go to sleep, but then you don't want them to, you know, zone. You have to kind of pace yourself. I don't know how to explain. I'm sorry, I'm not making myself clear.
I know what you mean. It's that difference between connecting and it's either speaking too quickly,
right,
that it doesn't calm somebody, or you go, as you say, you go maybe too slowly where they almost start to sort of drift off.
Yes.
You put the warning on as well, don't you, about not driving or operating heavy machinery.
Yeah, I always have that. The one, always use caution and common sense. I always put that in there in case, you know, you never know. Nowadays, somebody's driving and they're like, close your eyes. They're, you know.
People might be listening, or often do listen to podcasts and things like that while they're on the move. So they could well be driving. So, I mean, that is a fair warning, because it does, definitely what I've listened to of yours, that does relax you into that sort of state where you're right, you're not perhaps as alert. Certainly if you're doing something like that as you need to.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to be on the news, so.
That would be really, really bad.
That would be horrible.
But quite dangerous too, wouldn't it? Oh, wow. Imagine if sort of Celie didn't like you and sort of found out that Celie phoned you whilst you were driving. That would be a really difficult case to prove in court.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Oh, that would make a great novel. Oh,
don't.
That would. Oh, we have given somebody a great idea.
Is that going to be my next book, Rich?
Oh, you're giving him ideas now, Cindy. It'll be factoring that into his next role.
Would that be my next book?
That, oh my gosh, that would be great. Just put me in the little, what do you call it? The end of the book where you like talk about, you know,
research.
You're like, thanks, Cindy.
Sorry, you wanted this book was inspired by C.B. from Hypno, who is sort of accused of being linked to sort of serial killings. We're going to put a disclaimer on this episode, Rich. Right mature. And you know, imagine if this really happened in real life, we'd be blamed.
Oh my gosh! Oh gosh, we'd be on the news. We'd be on the news.
I think they're pretty into an episode of Death in Paradise or something once. I'm pretty sure. Is that or New Tricks or something? There was one of those BBC shows where they used hypnosis as a murder method. I think it was Death in Paradise. I'd have to go back and watch some of the old episodes with it. But yeah, it's giving T.A. food for thought now. He's thinking about connecting it in, putting that in.
Yeah, I know they've made a few movies about hypnosis. Actually, I think I did an episode about movies and hypnosis and how it actually couldn't happen that way. But they're very, really interesting to watch. You know, people make these, you know, movies like, oh, well, they did this and they were hypnotized. Oh, what is it? Office Space is another one where the guy is in the hypnosis area and the guy dies and he's hypnotized. And so he does all of the crazy stuff because he's hypnotized. Have y'all ever seen Office Space?
No, I've seen that.
Oh, y'all need to watch that movie. It's really funny. It's great. It's an older movie, but it is so good. Like I can't remember who's in it. I think Jennifer Aniston is in it. I think she plays like the girlfriend. But yeah, it's great. Like he's hypnotized and he's just like the chillest person ever, and he just kind of like goes back to his office and all of these things happen to him and he's just chill.
Oh wow.
I'm sort of frantically going to look this up.
I've heard the name of the film before, where I wasn't sure what it was about.
1999.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mike.
Gosh, that's the same age as my son.
Wow.
26 years ago. It's still a great movie.
It's not one that's jumping out. I've definitely not seen it.
Oh, y'all definitely have to watch it. It's that good.
And of course, if I ever do write the book, I won't be remotely inspired by the film. So I don't want to get sued either for copying. We were recommending to watch this film and then write a book.
Oh, that one is definitely not gonna, it wouldn't be serial killer type. It's comedy. It's like hilarious. Like, it's so funny.
So if you weren't doing sort of the hypnotherapy, and obviously you used to work in the sort of dental environment, what else would you like to do and why?
Well, when my mother was here, I wrote some clean romance novels, and I did Kindle for a while. I did 4 books, and I liked that okay. It just got a little bit too much because then you have to like put out a book and put out, because I was writing the short stories and not like a long form novel. I would probably get back into writing again because I don't want to go back to hygiene. I've been there and done that. I did it majority of my life. I mean, whenever I was in school, I used to get out of school early and go work at a dental office. So you're doing that from like to the time you're 17 until you're, almost 50 something years old. You're done with, you're just done with it. And so I would either do writing or, I don't know, exercise all day. I have no idea.
I mean, it's interesting to talk about the writing, obviously, because now you've obviously, I've written 1 book. I'm just sort of coming to the end of a second one, but now we've got this idea on the go. We've actually sort of got the thing for you ready. If you wanted to write, you've got it plotted here. It might be a little bit too close to be doing hypnotherapy and then suggesting one. Have you ever written a novel, or was it always more the short stories?
It's always been the short stories. I did creative writing when I was in high school, and I absolutely loved. I've always had to have a creative outlet. If not, I was going to just, I guess, I don't know, crumble inside. I think everybody has to have a little bit of something that they do, And so I've always like written poetry or short stories, and I would tap my little computer and I would just write stories in my car on my lunch break. So I just enjoyed that. But I used to like to write the clean romance. And so I don't know if I could do the serial killer stuff.
I should have hired Cindy to read my audiobook. So at the moment, I'm just going through the process of looking at doing an audiobook for my first book. And I'm realizing that your voice would be much better than mine. An audiobook, to be honest. Yeah.
I thought about doing that too with the voiceover. What do you call it? Like a voice actress?
Yeah.
But I don't understand how to get into that or anything. Because I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, you got a great voice. You got a great voice," and I just don't know how. I think it's pretty competitive too.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know a huge amount about that side of it, and obviously, I'm not a voice artist. It's purely for my own book. And mainly because, again, it is obviously there's obviously heavy costs involved to employ somebody to do that. But I know people do that. But yeah, because of how you obviously can do the whole breath control and that within a voice, it would probably make it a much nicer listen than, unfortunately, my dulcet tones, which when I've been practicing and then trying to do the voice, it's quite hard work, actually.
I was going to say, when you sit in your closet, I do mine in my closet. Like right now, I'm out in my open area, but whenever I do my podcast, I'm in my closet, and it picks up on every swallow, every, if you have a slight bit of a cold or anything, it will pick up all of that stuff. So I know what you're talking about with like the breathing thing, and when you're trying to record a clean audio, it can be hard sometimes.
Well, I was going to say, Cindy, because just prior to recording, T.A. was telling me about him doing all the voices that he had to do for his audiobook, and him suggesting that you read it. Do you do accents at all?
I don't know if I do accents or not. I don't know if I do. I don't think I can do an English accent.
Ours are very bad regionally English accents. I think that's, in fact, to be fair, you wouldn't pick our accent for an audiobook, would you really?
No, I think the only... so obviously we're from Birmingham, and I think that probably the most famous person people would know from Birmingham is probably Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we're notoriously in when they do the sort of the regional accents, they do like a poll of them, and it's like one of the lowest ones is always Birmingham, isn't it? As a sort of accent, the least liked accent across the UK.
Well, that'll go well with my narrating of my audiobook, won't it, Rich? I'm gonna have to try and change my voice.
I know that the only English accent I do is like, I love what we do in the shadows, and the guy, his name is Barry. I can't remember his last name. And he's like, my darling. That guy. I love how he says that. He's like, my darling.
You can do that.
I love that. That is just like my I always tell my kids that, my cats that. Like,
I'm trying to think who your voice does remind me actually a little bit in terms of, and I imagine, I don't know the exact, but Matthew McConaughey's got that very, hasn't he? You got that kind of same tone of.
What does he say? Oh, there's something that he says.
Impression of Matthew McConaughey.
Yes, Matthew McConaughey's impression.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
What does he say?
I was driving in my Lincoln. Let's not continue.
Oh, that's the Lincoln lawyer.
They get edited out of the episode. Surely I can't. It's like, wait, how do you have to do it like this? You have to go. All right. That's the closest. Off the bat, if you can't do a Matthew McConaughey impression, that's how you have to start.
Yeah. All right.
I was watching. Jim Carrey does a brilliant impression of Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I've seen.
Yeah. That's...
Well, I'll have to see. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, my voice is okay. I was born in Florida. I was born in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and my dad was in the Air Force. So I moved to Spain whenever I was like 6, and I was there till I was about 9.5, maybe 10ish. I can't remember, but. When I came back, I didn't sound as Southern as I do now. And when I got off the plane, it scared me. The way that people were talking. And they wanted to touch me. And it scared me so bad that I still, to this day, can remember how I felt getting off that airplane. And I was also sick because I got a little touch of food poisoning or something, or maybe air sickness. And so landing... It was horrible for me when I came back. And when people asked, like, where I used to live, and I said I lived in Spain, and then they would laugh. They would be like, no, you didn't. And, like, my mom had to, like, get pictures, and I had to go to school and show them, I actually did live over there. And so my accent is a little bit different than the people here, if that makes any sense. So I have a Southern accent. But a lot of people will say, where are you from?
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And like you said, I sound like Matthew McConaughey. He's from Texas. So.
It's just what it reminds. It's the closest thing I can think of in terms of, and obviously I know that's a male voice and a female, but in terms of the tone, if that makes sense, and just the pacing of it, it's just got that similarity. That was all. That's what jumped out at me as a comparison. Mm-hmm. And then you put me on the spot to try and do a Matthew McConaughey impression. was fun.
He loves doing impressions, Cindy. So yeah, but not worry.
But not of people I can't do.
You can't do any of them.
But that's not fair. That is not fair. Whereabouts in Spain did you live?
Madrid. It was a place called Torrejon. I think that's what it was called. It was an Air Force base. So they've closed it now. I don't even think it's there anymore.
Because you've been just near Barcelona.
Yeah, I've just been like an hour away from Barcelona in Salou.
Yeah, I think a Navy base is over there in Barcelona.
Yeah, I didn't get to see much of Barcelona, unfortunately. It was like an hour's drive, I think it was, to where we were staying. But it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Oh, I bet you did. It should be nice weather.
It was till the last day it decided to rain a little bit, but it's been very good. It's very strange coming back here because it's just wet and horrible now here, but Yeah.
Yeah, we have that right now. We're in a drought though. Alabama's normally we have more rain than Seattle, Washington. Now we have less cloud coverage, but whenever we get rain, we get more rain than Seattle. So it's wild. Like it pours here like badly.
We've just had a really good summer, haven't we? So we had very little rain, but then now September's hit, we finally sort of started to get quite a bit now. But
Yeah, and y'all are lucky. Y'all get like a cooler days than we do.
yeah,
It's like 89 degrees with probably 1,000% humidity outside. You can literally feel the air on you when you walk outside. That's how high our humidity is. It's wild. We went to Ohio, and when we got out of the car, because Ohio's humidity is a lot less than down here, I was like, we need to just get back in the car. Go back up to Ohio. This is horrible.
yeah, we rarely have it.
It's not normally that bad. It's
Rare.
It's very strange. Our summers here are really odd because it never used to get as hot as it has in recent years, but now it just gets unbearable for like a good few weeks. We had quite a heat wave. It's nice because we have it so cold and we always want the heat, and then it comes and we're just moan. I think the British just like to moan.
Well, down here they do it too. The heat. You know, it's horrible. But I thought about a business venture for over there is opening up an air condition company and sell air conditions over there. Because now with climate change, which I'm a big believer in, y'all are going to get more and more hotter summers, you know, versus what y'all used to. So an air conditioning company would be great over there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way it's going to end up going. I know our version of The Apprentice in this country is done with a guy called Alan Sugar, who's a businessman, sort of UK-based, self-made millionaire, or billionaire. I don't even know what he is anymore. But he used to run a football team and all kinds of things over here. But he was The Apprentice, and he actually had the winner this year did air conditioning, and he's trying to sort of bring that about, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, it's a good. I remember watching that actually. Yeah, he did. Yeah, because he was saying exactly what you've just said. So you've just killed Cindy's British business plan.
No, it's all about.
That was my retirement plan now.
To be honest, Cindy, he's only going to do it in London.
Hey, I could start up anywhere over there. Cindy's AC.
So, I mean, we obviously live in a very fast-paced world now. And I think a lot of people can't remember a time before the seeming permanent attachment to sort of technology and with phones and the internet. I mean, how damaging do you think the modern world is now to sort of that inner peace and its impact on our ability to take, you know, those few minutes, you know, for ourselves in quiet reflection?
And that's a good question, because you have your little phone, and instead of, you have to check yourself sometimes, because instead of taking a moment of peace for yourself, you're looking at all of these things that's going on in the world, and it just makes you feel helpless. So I think meditation, hypnosis, putting the phone down, putting the computer down is what a lot of people need to do sometimes, like, because it's overwhelming. It can be just that 24 news cycle is not even 24-hour news cycle anymore. I don't even know what it is. 3-minute news cycle. You know, it's the wild, wild west right now. And I think people need to, you know, if you follow people that don't spark you joy, then you just need to not follow them. You know, like if you see a person on Instagram that you're jealous of or something, just get rid of them. You know, don't follow people like that. And you know, technology is a wonderful, beautiful, amazing thing, but it can hurt you if you're not careful.
But what you can do, I'm sure you won't mind me saying with this, is you can use that same technology to listen to Cindy's Hypno Wellness,
That's right.
which will give you some quiet reflection and peace, or it certainly did for me. And so, I'd recommend you can then turn it in that way and make it to better effect.
I agree.
And make it do something useful for you.
Yeah, you follow people that make you laugh, or get your brain in an area where you're not like, oh my gosh, the world's falling apart.
I actually saw something while I was away. I didn't get to properly read it, but they're actually talking now that a lot of the younger generation are looking into buying dumb phones, like the older mobiles, so like the Nokias and things like that, because they actually want to have less disruption in their lives. So it's literally just, it'll phone somebody and it'll text somebody and that's it, and they can play Snake, and that's about all that there is.
Yeah.
So that's quite an interesting sort of thing where we're kind of going back a little bit in some respects.
And my son, my youngest one, I have 3 children. My daughter is 31, and then I have a 26-year-old, and then I have the 23-year-old. And the 23-year-old, he doesn't really like technology that much. Like with his phone, he has Instagram, that's it. He thinks Facebook is stupid, which I do. I'm not a big Facebook person. I have it just to make, see what's going on with the older people in our family. And he just hates AI. He doesn't like to hear about the news. He's like you said, he doesn't want to be bothered with any of that. So the younger generation, hopefully, they're headed in the right direction. I hope so, or we're doomed.
Yeah, it's very true. I think now, seeing some of the things I'm seeing, I think it is getting to a point where people have realised it's having an adverse effect on their mental health, certainly. And there's that sort of, they call it doom scrolling, don't they? We're constantly looking. And I think we have sort of gotten into, I mean, even I'm guilty of it. And obviously I'm from a generation that's not really of the content everywhere. When I remember VHS and all of that sort of stuff. So it is very interesting how things have gone. And hopefully we're going to find a happy medium between everything. Because the technology is brilliant, like you said, it can be so useful, and yet we seem to be using it for a lot of things that just aren't really helping our lives in any way.
That's true. I'm guilty, completely 100% guilty of, being online chronically, and that's a bad thing.
But I suppose there's a difference when you're doing something positive. I think it's
that's true too. Yeah. And I also make sure that I take the time to take care of myself. Like I work out, and that kind of thing. So I make sure to, do my weights and do my workout, and so that I'm not, sitting down all day. Because when you're retired, and I'm using like quotation marks, when you're retired, sitting down a lot can be a problem. Because like my house is constantly clean. I'm always piddling around and doing something and keeping the house clean. So it's not like I have to spend the weekend doing it, or, like how I used to. So being retired, I always have to try to move and do something. But yes, I am online a lot.
Well, I think we're coming towards the end of the episode. We do have a tradition on the podcast, do we not, Rich?
We do. So, Cindy, when we have a guest on the show, we like to give them sort of the closing section of the program. So, is there anything that you'd like to, anything you want to talk to our listeners about? Let them know where they can find you and your podcast. The floor is yours.
My name is Cindy Brainerd, and I am the host of Hypno Wellness. You can find me on Instagram under Hypno Wellness 1. And you can find me on YouTube I think it's Hypno Wellness on YouTube, but I think it's at Hypno Wellness 1 on YouTube also. And you can listen to my podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank y'all so much. It was nice to meet y'all.
Want more middle-aged podcast in your life?
Of course you do. Follow us on social media for behind-the-scenes stuff, extra larks, and all our latest updates.
We're on Instagram and Threads at Midaged Podcast.
Facebook's easier. Just head to facebook.com/middleaged podcast.
If you're still hanging on to Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, we're at Midaged Podcast.
And if you're on Blue Sky, it's at middleagedpodcast.bsky.social.
Or you can swing by our website, middleagedpodcast.co.uk.
Give us a follow and stay in the loop.
Cheers for listening.
Two best mates here to take you to stand. Rich and T.A. got your health in the hands. Weigh-ins, laughs, and tales they tell. For beats and nights, the workouts, they're keeping it real. Oh, it's the middle